Virtually all religions either worship aliens or believe in aliens and don't even know it. The problem with people that are into religion is they think they're spiritual because they haven't understood that religion and spirituality are two totally different things. Religion and politics is a deadly combination because it's all about complete ultimate manipulation. There's a black pope. I don't mean a black man. It's a pope who wears a black outfit. The black pope controls everything from behind the scenes. All over the world, religion has used forced conversion tactics to bring different religions to different regions of the planet. I have been talking about different religions from various times and breaking them down and basically, showing you where they have a lot of holes in their theories and how their dogma literally affects human beings from the time you're born all the way until the time you die. Now, we don't have a lot of people don't have the capability of discerning what is real within that religious text and what is actually fake. And I've gone through over 1,000 scriptures, cylinder scrolls, papyruses, cuneiform tablets. I've gone to indigenous countries. I've gone and walked amongst the people. I've talked to the sages and the elders. I've touched hieroglyphs. I've been everywhere. And what I found is that when religion grabs a hold of someone, it literally takes them almost forever and sometimes never to be able to understand there's a much bigger picture and that they've been trapped into a system that's kind of put them into a box. And I really want people to be able to understand that in order for human beings to get to the next level, we have to break out of this box. I believe in a creator, and I've said this 1,000 times on 1,000 interviews. Why do I believe in a creator? Because the mathematics, the quantum physics already proves that there's a creator of this realm, that an entity or possibly entities outside of this universe, they're not inside here with us, created this realm. We're living in a fractal holographic matrix. It doesn't mean that we're not real, but it means that the divine spark that created this software, this program code that we're operating and we're fully immersed in is made of light. We're living inside of a light matrix. So in essence, yeah, the Bible's correct. We're living in a creation. The fractal holography is the description of the type of matrix that was created and how it was created. The Bible doesn't say what type of matrix, it just says the word. Now, the word is sound, that's frequency. So we know frequency had a lot to do with collapsing this wave into existence in this third dimension. I just wanted to give you kind of a synopsis why I decided to do this. I want people to wake up and understand that we have to teach our next generation to do better when it comes to religion. Unfortunately, when you're born, you're given a name, a race, and a religion, and you spend the rest of your life defending a false identity. This is the case. This is the nature of the world today. We're given a religion as soon as we come out of the womb. We're given a religion before we even come out of the womb. People are already praying over over the mother's belly and praises and prayers and this and that. And whatever those prayers are for, whatever religion they belong to, that's now encoding into your cells through cymatic frequencies. And even though there's a lot of falsehoods in the teaching and a lot of contradictory information in the teaching and a lot of information left out in the teachings by accident on purpose, it's never really looked into in depth, and it's just continued to pass on for thousands of years. And it's one of the biggest things holding mankind back. One thing you have to understand is most religions on this planet, they're worshiping aliens. If somebody is in a religion, I don't care what religion it is, we'll talk about the names of these religions in a second. And you say to them, hey man, you're worshiping an alien. Like, oh, I'm not worshiping. What are you talking about worshiping an alien? Well, where's your God from? Is your God an earthling? Is it a human? No, my God ain't human. Well, was he from Earth or she from Earth or is it from Earth? No, it's an alien. The definition of alien, look it up in the Webster's dictionary. If I'm claiming to be your God and I'm not from your planet, I wasn't born out of a womb of a woman to walk around in flesh and so forth and so on, and I claim that I'm not from here. Even Jesus, who came out of a womb, says, I'm not of this world. Well, then you're an alien. We have this thing called the Force. And the Force, it's imbued into every single atom and every single person's body and everything that exists throughout the entire universe. It's the divine spark, divine energy. The same divine spark that created everything that we know to be in the entire known universe is inside of your body as well. And this energetic force exists at every Planck unit in space-time all around you. We're fully immersed in it. And it gives you have access to it. You can tap into that source power. Not only is it in your body, but it's you breathing it. It's prana. You're walking in it. You're swimming in it. You're flying in it. You're driving in it. It's everywhere. You can't escape it. It's in everything. It's everywhere at all times. It's everywhere at every Planck unit in space-time. And now the ancient mystery schools would teach, thousands of years ago to adept initiates. That's how you got in. You had to be an adept initiate. You weren't just allowed to walk into a class. You had to be handpicked. You were taught how to use this energy, this source energy, this power for the power of light to bring peace and balance to the universe. Now, this is an actual ancient Kemetic teaching. The ancient Kemet people, they had people called the Jedi, D-J-E-D-I, Jedi. They were Jedi Knights. The Jedi were on the light side, but they were the Dark Brothers, according to Thoth, the ruler of the land of Kim for 14,000 years, according to the ancient pre-dynastic Egyptians. They were the Dark Brothers, and Star Wars called it the dark side. So you see George Lucas, wise man. He went to ancient texts and tablets, did his research, and created a whole multi-billion-dollar movie series out of true stories. After the Second Pyramid War, about 5,000 years or close to 5,000 years ago, a lot of these beings that were teaching these ancient mysteries and teaching mankind and building these cities all over the world, they started to leave the planet little by little. And Earth became an abandoned seed colony. Abandoned. We just left here like little children on this planet, trying to feel our way through the darkness and figure out what to do next, right? And a lot of these ancient mystery schools were still in action, from some of the wisdom that had been passed down and passed down and passed down. Eventually, some of these mystery schools realized, this information is so powerful, I can actually utilize it to manipulate people. I can actually utilize this to control people. I can actually utilize this to dominate people. And so they began to understand how to use the force for the dark side. These are the Dark Brothers. And so these people come from a line of knowledge and wisdom that started off positive and upright and amazing, and only enforced lightness and balance and truth and life throughout the universe. They took it and they remixed it, understanding how to utilize and access and tap into that source power, understanding the power of vocalization, understanding the power of programming. They began to utilize it for darkness, for their own internal greedy, selfish, power-hungry needs. And that's how the dark side separated from the light side. When it started out as light, the darkness followed. And today we are predominantly, these secret societies predominantly are all about the dark side. These are the Dark Brothers that Thoth warned us about, that are walking amongst men, basically disguised as men, but really walking like men, but unlike men, hiding in the shadows behind the scenes, pulling strings of the puppets. They're the puppeteers, and creating the reality that they want on this planet for the purposes of power and control. Virtually all religions either worship aliens or believe in aliens and don't even know it. Let's have a look at the definition of alien. I told you earlier, an entity from outer space, for example, someone that's not from here. But let's look at this. Christianity, 2.1 billion people worship Jesus. John 8:23. And he said unto them, you are from beneath and I am from above. You are of this world and I am not of this world. That means not from earth, AKA alien. I'm talking about an entity that claims to have been, or people claim that he was of virgin birth. What's interesting is when you look into the Apocrypha text, you discover that his grandmother, Mary's mother, was also a virgin birth. Wait a minute, you didn't know about that, did you? What is all this virgin birth going on? Well, that's artificial insemination. In some way, I personally believe that Yeshua, not Jesus, because Jesus is a fake name, that means Hail Zeus, but Yeshua is an artificial insemination into the womb of Mary for the purpose of a new type of genetic experiment. And that's what I really believe, that he's probably half human, half Anunnaki, most likely what we would call a demigod, and was able to come through a womb, grow, and have retention of knowledge and wisdom from his ancestry, from his bloodline. I don't believe that Yeshua was in any way sacrificed or killed on any cross, because there are many, many texts that contradict what the mainstream canonized Bible talks about, and where it says that he was crucified on a cross and whipped to death and hung, he hung there until he died and blah, blah, blah. No. If you look at the Sinai Bible, which predates the King James version of the Bible, there is no crucifixion at all. Never happened. Matter of fact, he goes on to live a life. And in Harvard Seminary, they just discovered a few years ago the book of Jesus's wife. So he got married, most likely had children, and that would be the Merovingian bloodline that still is walking the planet till this very day, covertly behind the scenes. Islam, 1.3 billion believe that the Prophet Muhammad was meditating in a cave of Hira by himself when the angel Gabriel, who's supposedly not from Earth, descended, which means he came down from above. He wouldn't walk up to him, he came down from above and told him to recite the Iqra, the words of God, even though the Prophet Muhammad was illiterate at the time. So Muhammad had to go get another person that knew how to write. And so here's this alien coming down to this dude. He's telling him, hey, I need you to write this stuff down. This guy goes, man, I'm illiterate. I don't know how to read and write. Well, go find somebody then. So then he goes and finds somebody that can write. And then you got this alien talking to Muhammad, and then Muhammad's telling this other guy, write this down. And so it's this process of you tell me and I'll tell him. You tell me and I'll tell him. And that's how they wrote the Quran. Hinduism, 851 million Hindus hold that the cosmos is populated by numerous deities and spiritual beings, gods and goddesses or devas, who actually influence the world and who interact with humans. Again, not from this earth. Aliens. They can't escape it. You can't see, when you lay the facts down before people, there's no way to escape it. There's no way to run away from it. There's no way to hide from it. You can't deny these statements. You're dealing with aliens. They're worshiping aliens. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying it's aliens. These people are afraid of aliens, but they worship aliens. Buddhism, 375 million. Okay, they have certain branches of larger Buddhist tradition, including the Mahayana, include a variety of gods and goddesses who are also not from Earth. Buddhism is a great religion. It's got a lot of great spiritual teachings in there. For the most part, it's non-violent. But again, it's aliens. Mormons, 13.5 million. The angel Moroni, who's not from Earth, he descended from heaven. In Mormonism, an angel visited Joseph Smith on numerous occasions, beginning on September 21st, 1823. This is New Age religion stuff. According to Smith, the angel was the guardian of the golden plates, which the Latter-day Saints believe were the source material for the Book of Mormon, which was buried in a hill near Smith's home in western New York. Again, so now you have another alien that comes down, talks to a guy, say, hey man, dig up these tablets right quick. There's some information on these that you need to start a whole movement with. And that's exactly what he did. So another group of people worshiping an alien, praising an alien, getting their information from an alien. And I do mean alien, somebody who came from another place, not from Earth. This angel, according to the Mormons, was not born on Earth, didn't come out of a woman's womb. There's no hospital record that you can go find where it was born and grew up as a person. Came from space. Alien. So for everyone who's said, I just want to be able to talk to people and tell them like, hey, The people that you're praying to are aliens. Well, let them watch this show. This is indisputable information. They can't dispute this. They can't wish this away. The only thing they can do is get angry at you and run. There's nothing that you can do to say this is not accurate. There's not one thing. The only thing they can do is fabricate additional information or get angry. That's the only two things they can do. Or probably do both. Okay. So religion, it reinforces and promotes social inequality and social conflict. It helps convince the poor to accept their lot in life, accept your current conditions. And it leads to hostility and violence motivated by religious differences. This perspective focuses on the way in which individuals interpret their religious experiences. What we're talking about here is violence motivated by religious differences. We'll talk a little bit about Islam in this video today and what they did to the Egyptians very shortly. But it promotes social conflict, difference, bullying, discrimination, inequality, harassment, exclusion, sexism, stereotypes, racism. This is what comes out of religion. Spirituality doesn't even understand those concepts. It doesn't even understand those precincts. It doesn't even understand those words. Those words can't even come out of a spiritual person's mouth. The problem with people that are into religion is they think they're spiritual because they haven't understood that religion and spirituality are two totally different things. If you're religious, you're religious. If you're spiritual, you're spiritual. Spirituality and religious, they just don't go together. You just can't have both. You can't have your cake and eat it too. You just can't. Either it's dogma or it's freedom. That's it. Those are your only two choices. You can't have your cake and eat it too. The problem with religion is it creates a division and a divide. It creates a divide and conquer that has persisted for thousands of years. This is why the aliens don't talk to us. You go to church, they don't like what you got on. This ain't good in the eyes of God, right? And all they do is gossip. All they do is talk crap about you. You go to a kingdom hall, which is the Jehovah's Witness. They ask you all kind of crazy, intimidating questions. If they find out that you kissed a girl, you can be excommunicated from the kingdom hall. If they find out that you are interested in going to college, you could be excommunicated. You don't need college. The brothers at the church will teach you everything you need to know. If you tell them that you don't need to go through the brothers because you have a direct connection with God, you'll be excommunicated. It's craziness. It creates bullying, sexism. Women just got the ability to stand up and say something in church. That just happened. Women have been oppressed at every turn you can think of when it comes to religion. They couldn't walk into the synagogue. They couldn't walk into the temple. They couldn't walk into the church. They couldn't stand up. They couldn't say anything. And we just finally got to the point now where you can actually have a female pastor, right? Women couldn't even vote for the longest. They were just considered just as like a black person almost. So, and if you were a black woman, you were a double minority. You were doubly oppressed. So it's pretty interesting. But again, religion. And, talking about how African Americans or black people got into Christianity is a whole nother podcast. And then it just became, listen, if you don't follow this, you're going to be whipped and beat. So now the next generation comes out, they're born into it, and the next generation is born into it. And the next thing you know, they take it and run with it. By third, fourth generation, hey man, this is all we know. It's an ingenious neuroscientific programming code that they were able to insert into different civilizations of people and force them to become subjugated to religious systems. Okay. It creates a lot of favoritism. I'm in the elite group of the 144,000, according to Jehovah's Witness. I'm going to go to paradise and you're not. Or Christianity, everyone who hasn't given up, Jesus, who hasn't admitted that Jesus Christ is their Lord and personal Lord and Savior, well, they're just infidels and they're going to be subjugated to a lake of fire and they're not going to make it to heaven. But I'm good because this is all this is ridiculous. It attacks gender. Ethical values of each religion can play a major role in politics. As a member of any religious community, people should feel that people should express their political needs. The political leaders should regulate the practice of religion so that there is no discrimination and oppression. That's just my personal belief, that there should be some type of regulation. You're not going to be able to eliminate religion right now. That's just the way the world is, okay? But, however, we have a situation here where because of your religion and because of how much money your religious sect has to offer, they can actually be put themselves in a situation to lobby laws and rights and things into existence that another group can't do, or get more favor here than another religious group. And so there's a certain level of discrimination based on financial power when it comes to politics and religion. Also, you know that the United States, for example, I can only talk about the United States in this case, they primarily base politics off of Christianity, although the majority of those people have never even read a Bible. It's in God we trust, God bless America, and all this kind of stuff, right? However, they don't have Christian values. The majority of these people, they just play the game. I remember when Obama was elected as a president, Obama wasn't a Christian. He didn't even put his hand on the Christian Bible to get sworn in. You don't have to put your hand on the Bible to get sworn in case you didn't know. It's not required. And so he didn't put his hand on the Bible because he doesn't believe in the Bible. So the majority of people that voted for Obama because he was black were Christians, black Christians. They came out in droves. Praise God, praise Jesus, we got a black president. Meanwhile, the same guy they praising this Yeshua to and all this other kind of foolishness and running out there to these voting box, they praising a guy who don't believe in any of their Christian values at all. None of them. Believes in none of them. Matter of fact, the religion he believes in slaughtered millions of Christians. The Coptic Christians of Egypt, which we're going to talk about. Pretty interesting, huh? You see, religion and politics is a deadly combination because it's all about complete ultimate manipulation. And because the dogma runs so deep in people, the politicians utilize that to control you and dominate you at every single turn, when they literally can care less about that Bible. They can care less about what's in that book. These people don't even know anything about spirituality, religious systems, or nothing. They just know how to utilize certain phrases and words to control you and to make you pledge allegiance to a piece of material, which they call a flag. I never pledged allegiance to no flag. Not one time did I ever say I pledge allegiance to the flag. The first time I heard that, I was like, what are they talking about? A flag? No, I'm not. I don't do that. I remember I almost got suspended from school. It was in Norland Junior High School in Miami, Norland area in Florida, Miami. The city was called Norwood. And they called my mom and said I was inciting a riot. I'm like, look, man, I'm not pledging no allegiance to a piece of material that has, to me, zero value. Now, you want me to pledge allegiance to humanity? I'll do that. To people, I'll do that. Religion and politics, they prey on the religious people because the religious people who are sold completely into the religion and become fanatics for a religion, the easiest people to manipulate. I mean, I can ring you left, I can ring you right, I can make you do whatever I want to do. It's so easy to manipulate you because the dogma gives me control over your every thought. It gives me control over every atom in your body. I have complete domination and control over everything you do, hear, see, taste, touch, smell, feel. I know I can control everything I want you to see, what I don't want you to see. And you'll be happy as a pig in slop because you'll say, it's the Lord's will. They got you coming and going. They got you coming and going, and they sit back and they laugh. I've been around people that are in that at a high level. They just sit back. I just infiltrate. I infiltrate people. I infiltrate little groups because I got the financial means to walk indoors, where a lot of people, they'll never be able to open a door, never going to get invited to see anything. I walk indoors. I have the financial means. I have the paperwork. And I sit back and I go, this is the game. This is the pimp game. This is the ultimate pimp game. I use a different word, but I don't want to say that on this because children might be watching. So, wow, this is pretty cool. This is what they're doing here. They're sitting back, they're laughing. Forced conversion. All over the world, religion has used forced conversion tactics to bring different religions to different regions of the planet. Mostly Christianity and Islam. The problem with this is the techniques used. Forced conversion is the adoption of different religion or the adoption of irreligion under duress. You know what that means? That means by force, guys and gals. That means by force. Someone who has been forced to convert to a different religion or irreligion may continue covertly to adhere to the beliefs and practices which they originally held, while outwardly behaving as a covert. They call them crypto Jews, crypto Christians, crypto Muslims, and crypto pagans are historical examples. How did these religions get spread around the world? How did they become, on every corner of the planet I've been to, I've seen a Catholic church. I was at the floating cities in Cambodia. Now, the floating city, if you've never been there, it's an amazing place. Floating city. It looks like you're on the ocean. As far as the eye can see, it's just water, and I mean deep water. And there's houses on top of the water, floating houses, floating grocery stores, floating schools. Kids get in buckets and they splash around and play in buckets like they're outside in the front yard playing. Nobody has a car. Everything is all by these little handmade boats with these little tiny one-cylinder motors on them. And what's in the middle of this floating city? A floating Catholic church. For people who believe in Hinduism, Buddhism, there's a monastery off in the distance, floating monastery. But the biggest structure there is a floating Catholic church. Everywhere you go in Mexico, there's a lot of hills. If you go to Mexico City, you're going to see hill after hill after hill after hill. And up the top of all these hills, there's always a church. What's this hill? What's underneath the hill? Those are pyramids. Every hill that you see in Mexico City, were pyramids. That the tops were used, explosive were used to blow the top off and put a church on top. Mexicans, they think they're Latino. They think they're Spanish. They're here. I'm a Spanish. No, you're not a Spanish heritage. That's not your dialect. You speak Spanish because your ancestors beaten and forced to speak Spanish and forced to follow that religion. Your original tongue is the different tongues of the Mayans and the Aztecs. You're an indigenous Mayan or an indigenous Aztec. You're not a Spaniard. You're not Mexican. You're not even Mexican, really. That's just a name. That's a more recent new name. You guys are Mayans and Aztecs, indigenous people. They were forced into a change of tongue and a change of religious beliefs. And what dominates Mexico today? Christianity, because those people came here with swords, weapons, guns. You take the leader of a community. They do this in every continent. They take the leader of your community, the chief or the sage or the elder. Tell them to follow us. Tell them to listen to us. And if he says no, okay, tie him up. Go ahead, tie him up. Tie him up. Let's begin the torture tactics. So they torture the most powerful person of their community in front of everyone if they don't agree to convert everybody. And after they torture that person to death, what do you think happens? People go, shoot, I don't want to go through that. Okay, what do we got? What do we got to learn? What do we got to do? So now they've been tortured into learning this new language, tortured into learning this new religion, And by the second and third generation, those babies come out with a forced religion on their backs. They don't know why, who, why, where, when, what. Original languages, the original lexicon and dialect, they're fading away. Very few people are holding on to that. The next thing you know, it's a Latino community. It only took about 150 years. That's it. Short period of time. That's it. Converted. Forced conversion. How did black people become Christians? The dominant religion for blacks is Christianity, in America at least. And this wasn't spread around the world by love and light. It wasn't spread around the world by love and light. These people that that are controlling the world are religious people from behind the scenes manipulating politicians, polytricksters from behind the scenes. As you can see here, world leaders, United States presidents, they always got to go visit and kiss this hand of this Pope. You ever notice that? And this Pope with the white garb on is not even the one controlling everything. There's a black Pope. I don't mean a black man. It's a Pope that wears a black outfit. The black Pope controls everything from behind the scenes. You have to contact him to get approval for every war that happens on this planet. The black Pope. That's a whole nother podcast I'm going to do because that's about, at least I need an hour and a half for that one. You know, you have religious conflicts where millions of people are always killed over these religious beliefs and in the name of God. The Taping Rebellion, the 30-year war. Look at that, 7.5 million people died in the 30-year war. In the Taiping Reunion, 20 million people died. The Mahdi Revolt, 5.5 million. The Crusades, 3 million. French Wars of Religion, 3 million. War in the Sudan, 2.6 million. The Albizian Crusade, 1 million. The Pathay Rebellion, 1 million. The Huai Rebellion, 640,000. Partition of India, 500,000. Cromwell's invasion of Ireland, 400,000. Human sacrifice, the gladiatorial games, 3.5 million. The Aztec sacrifice, 1.2 million. All over religious beliefs, guys and gals. That's a lot of death. That's a lot of killing. So when people tell me that we're living in the end times right now and this is the end of days and the Lord is coming and all this, I laugh. I laugh at them. I actually physically, I laugh at them. You know why? Because they obviously haven't read history. They don't know. Those are far more darker days than right now. Far more darker days. There's things going on in some countries that are pretty dark right now, but I guarantee you there's not 3 or 4 million people dying per day. Some of these numbers would need that to happen per day. That's not, hundreds of thousands of people aren't being slaughtered per day at this moment. There's no bubonic plague, which almost wiped out humanity. There's no black plague, which almost wiped out humanity at this moment. So, and if that's the case, we're not even close to the end of days. It actually, right now, is one of the best times to be alive. Now, for some people who may be suffering in Libya as a slave and places like that, it's unfortunate. But as a whole, if you take consideration of 8 billion people, it's actually one of the best times to be alive. There are opportunities that are here that didn't exist back then. And right now, you're looking at a situation where millions of people have been slaughtered in the name of religion. And unfortunately, because of epigenetics, all those tortures and all those killings, all those murders are inside of our bodies, because from our ancestors, they're passed down generation to generation to generation. You have people walking around with depression, anxiety, PTSD. They don't know what the hell's wrong with them. What is wrong with me? I have a great life. I'm doing good. I'm smart. Why am I like this? Doctor just gives you more medication to make you even sicker. But the true source of the pain that you're feeling is from back then. All these religious tortures that happened, all the dogma that happened to your ancestors, all the forced conversion that happened to your ancestors. It's in your body in the form of epigenetic memories. And those memories are living themselves out in your reality and making you sick today. That's what's happening. That's the power of the effect of these religious wars in the name of God. The Muslims' conquest of Egypt. After the fall of Rome, Egypt became part of the Byzantine Empire until it was conquered by the Muslim Arabs in 641 current era. Throughout the Middle Ages, from its conquest by the Islamic Empire in the year 641 until 1517, Egypt was governed as part of a series of Arab caliphates. And what happened here? Something stands out. A lot of the people are Arab, number one. And those aren't the original inhabitants of Egypt. The second thing is the majority of the people are Muslim. That's not the original religion of Egypt. And the third thing is the Egyptians, they don't even speak Egyptian. They don't even know how to speak Egyptian. They speak Arabic. They write in Arabic. They're taught Arabic in school, and they don't even know how to read hieroglyphs, the majority of them. They just started teaching that recently, I think 2 years ago, to Egyptians in school. How did this happen? How in the world could this possibly happen? Well, I'm going to tell you. These Muslims, these Arab Muslims, came to Egypt and wanted to take it over. And they went in there and they slaughtered not all, but the majority of the Christians. I'm talking about with giant swords, cutting heads off, stabbing people through the chest, killing men, killing women, killing children. And the depictions of this slaughter, this genocide, are in Coptic Cairo, where we take our tour people. We take them to these places which are now what they call Coptic churches. And in there, they have the depictions of the slaughter of the Arabs, killing them, killing their women, killing children, to force convert the area into Islam and steal the land, which they did. And then they built the city of Cairo and made that their new capital. It's disguised with love and light and bless you, and we're here to help you, and we're going to donate this, and we're going to try to help this and here, and we're going to buy gifts for kids. And at its core, the people that run it at the highest levels, they're laughing at you because you fell for their trick. They're dominating the planet and making trillions of dollars doing it till this very day.